My new Point Reyes blanket is an easy knit and purl design for experienced beginners. It is reversible with a modern and graphic texture. Hi, I'm Kristen and welcome back to my channel, Studio Knit. This blanket is an easy knit and purl, beginner friendly, and reversible, meaning that both sides, the front and the back, are completely identical and looks great however it's displayed. The blanket is constructed with a seed stitch border. The body of our blanket is in the parallelogram stitch. My knit stitch pattern book includes this texture. For this blanket design, I've modified it to create a larger motif. You can see that its stockinette and reverse stockinette shapes have opposite sides. They are both parallel and equal in length, creating a beautiful symmetry of a parallelogram. Geometry aside, this blanket design just looks really cool. This parallelogram pattern is 24 stitches across and then 28 rows. If you enjoy the look of this Point Reyes blanket, please like up this video. It lets me know that you'd like to see more knit and purl blanket designs like this. For our knitting supplies, we're using yarn that is bulky weight number 5. You can use any fiber or yarn brand of your choice. I'm knitting with Cascade 128. It's a superwash merino wool that I enjoy knitting with. It has really great stitch definition. It's washable and really soft. This yarn is wound in skeins, so that means you will need to wind it into yarn balls using a yarn swift and ball winder. And my blanket colors are in Georgia Peach and Silver. Our knitting needle is a circular number 10 US. I'm using a 36-inch length. Now we are knitting the blanket flat, but the length of the circular needle allows us to knit it all the way up in one piece, absolutely no seaming required. And of course, you'll want some cute scissors and a tapestry needle on hand. Step 1 is casting on our stitches. The number of stitches that you'll cast on depends on the blanket size that you've chosen. My knitting pattern specifies exactly how many stitches to cast on depending on your blanket size. Step 2 is the blanket's bottom border, and this is in the seed stitch. We are knitting 10 rows of the seed stitch. The odd number rows 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, we are repeating K1, P1. So that's knitting 1 and purling 1, repeating it, knit 1, purl 1, all the way down the row. And for the even number rows 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, we are beginning by purling 1, knitting 1, and repeating that pattern all the way down the row. Your knitting instructions and row by row pattern is available on my website totally for free at Studio Knit. I also have a printable PDF pattern that is available for purchase over in my Studio Knit shop. You'll see that I provide the blanket size with the specific dimensions, the yarn amount that you'll need in yards or meters, and then how many stitches you'll be casting on. The parallelogram stitch is a big 28 row repeat, so I also include how many pattern repeats to expect for each blanket size you choose. Step 3 is knitting your blanket body in the parallelogram stitch. We're beginning with 6 stitches of the seed stitch. So we already have the seed stitch on the bottom. We are also including it on both sides. So it's 6 stitches to begin with of the seed stitch. And I highly recommend placing stitch markers. I'm just using a little scrap yarn to let me know where the beginning of the parallelogram stitch is. So I'm taking a different yarn color and placing as a stitch marker after the 12th row at the middle of the parallelogram stitch pattern. It just really helps you keep track of exactly where you are. And then after the 24th stitch, again, place another marker to help you know when the next pattern repeat is on your needle. And continue knitting your parallelogram stitch blanket body until you get to the top border, which again is in the seed stitch. So we are just knitting the seed stitch for 10 more rows, and then we are binding off our stitches. I'm just using the basic bind off that I do for most of my projects. Cutting our yarn, weaving it through that tapestry needle, and weaving in my yarn ends. I always like to block my blankets. I use blocking mats and these little T-pins. I wet block it by spraying it with a bottle on both sides, spray both sides down, and you can see the difference of how fresh off your needles your blanket does look great, but it does have a little bit of a rumpled look. But once blocked, your blanket looks really smooth, and if you're photographing your work, it gives it that perfect finishing touch. I have more easy knit and purl blanket designs for you to check out. Click on this video and I will see you there.